Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to another video. Now listen, in the last video, like, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff, by the way. Uh, I did a video saying Monster Hunter Wilds was dead. I got a lot of hate for that, but someone agrees with me, and they're a much bigger creator than I am, and they have released their own video about the fall of Monster Hunter Wilds. So, fuck you. I was right. And that's all I'm here to do today.
This story be a cautionary tale. A company that absolutely screwed over their most hardcore fans to please the market has now been kind of dumped and punished by the market. Capcom, they will not be loyal to you. Okay, let's get into the story. No one's particularly happy about Monster Hunter Wilds right now.
Yep.
On Steam, the recent user reviews are set.
I literally watched Gamescom and their collaboration event was entirely underwhelming and it was entirely just unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Why are we doing a collaboration with Final Fantasy? Like, I don't know anyone literally in my entire both online and personal friend group that even plays Final Fantasy. I'm the only one that plays Final Fantasy, now that I think about it. And I've only ever played the one game. And it wasn't Final Fantasy fucking, what is it, 14? That's the online one, whatever the online one is. Nobody plays it. Nobody. People used to play it, but that shit is dead. It's been dead. Why are we doing collaborations with dead brands? It would have been cooler if they would have had what is it, Final Fantasy 16 with the dude that has like the dragon form or the demon form, whatever the fuck it is. I don't remember it that well. Um what the hell is his freaking name, dude? Um I can't Final I want to say Final Fantasy 16. Yes, this guy. This guy images. This guy here. It would have been cooler if they would have had him in the game on Monster Hunter, and like this was the like you go up to him and it's just a guy who's like fucking having PTSD or some shit, and then he transforms into a monster and you have to slay him to get him back to normal. That would be sick. That would have been insane. That would have been a fucking incredible collaboration. If there were any Final Fantasy to choose, I would have chosen this one and I would have had that storyline specifically. And that would have, I 100% would have brought people back into it. Um, so I find it fucking crazy that it's a very surface level money grab, no fucking like substance to the content, and it's just I don't know, man. I was just wholly disappointed when I found the news.
17% positive. Devs are clearly frustrated.
Also, in my video, I did very much make it a point that majority of the negatives that are about Monster Hunter Wilds come from a performance perspective, because the performance even now, I loaded it up, I think it was like last week. Even now it is still abysmal. It is terrible. And it's not like I don't have like a middle of the road PC. I have a top of the line PC. So, what the fuck?
Enough to move entire content updates forward by a month, and now even the people Capcom wanted to please the most have turned on them. That's because the stock
Yep.
market, investors, and shareholders are no longer that happy. Because after releasing Monster Hunter Wilds with weaker optimization in PC, Capcom are reaping the rewards of their sales cratering by 95%. It's a pretty big number.
Said this shit was dead, bro. I said it was dying. Y'all flamed me in the comments for that shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go back to Twitter. I am the winner.
Now, I'm a gamer, you're a gamer, and you know what we're like. So, my fellow gamers, come to the front of the class, it's time for a lesson. Part of this is how I went from awful sleep to fantastic sleep, and how today's
Oh,
sponsor,
okay.
Manta Sleep, has been a huge help in that. So, what Manta does is actually really simple. They make the best sleep. 477,000. That is the number that VGC spotted in Capcom's first quarterly investor report. Oh,
Jesus.
it's a good number because it's the number of copies of Monster Hunter Wilds that just sold. So, just shy of 500,000. But you need to compare that to the slightly over 10 million from the first month. It is a 5% increase, and it's one that Capcom themselves say is, quote, soft. Which does seem kind of apt, and VGC notes something else here.
I don't know what they would I don't know what they expected. All they should have done was put out the console versions because those were optimization ready. Put those out and then simply just say to the PC players that there is unfortunately they need more time to push more optimization and kind of patchwork and whatever else they needed, and the players would have understood. All of us on PC would have understood. And then I don't know, maybe you throw them a couple of skins or something for the delay or whatever. Um, I think that would have went over perfectly fine. And then they wouldn't have gotten flamed by almost every continent about how poorly it performs on even your most commonly used level of PC. And it's just like, why? Like, why would you shoot yourself in the foot? And the funny thing is, everybody still showed up, and then they just didn't deliver. Like everybody still showed up. Like I'm actually curious. Like let's check Steam DB. Let's look at Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's see how they're doing right now. Yikes! 46%. I mean, it could be a lot worse in that regard. Could be a lot worse. Charts. Max. Okay. So with the Final Fantasy event, it has helped them a little bit. So if you look in the past week, let's look in the past week. How we doing in the past week here? So it looks like let's do past month. So it's projected on the uptick here thanks to that Final Fantasy collaboration, which is like again a dead collab. I wouldn't have collabed with Final Fantasy. I would have collabed, or if I would have, it would have been in Final Fantasy 16, and I would have had like a really like cool storyline with it to really draw players in and get them to come back and play. But yeah, they didn't really do that, so we just got very surface level, like, oh, hey, here's a new monster. Oh, hey, here's a fucking mount that's not as cool as the mount that you already currently have, even on a base skin level. It's so stupid, man. Final Fantasy got more out of it than Monster Hunter Wilds. Final Fantasy got Arkveld and The Secret, which is better than both of the fucking things that we got. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But yeah, obviously, fucking it just abysmal performance. And like the only peaks that this game has is literally behind my fucking face cam right now. There's your only peaks. That's insane. Actually nuts, bro.
Even the previous title, Monster Hunter Rise, sold 389,000 copies during the same period. Comparing the release dates, in no way should things look like that. Now, we've been talking about this since the launch, right? There were widespread complaints across all platforms, but especially in PC. And those
Yep.
complaints do actually filter through to potential buyers, especially because
This is what I'm saying. Like,
And those complaints
this guy's fucking, oh, you guys can't see it. This guy's PC is not bad. It isn't. It's like upper mid-range PC right here. He's got a 4060 fucking Ti. What else has he got? Oh, he's got a fucking 32 gigs of RAM, fucking DDR4, RGB, fucking everything he needs. Ryzen 5, 5th generation, fucking good. Fucking, it's a good PC. He should have no problem running this fucking game. But he probably runs it on low graphics because his PC is trying to push some insanely poorly optimized game. That's insane. And like me, I have a fucking Intel. I have an Intel chip, 13th gen, 4060, not the Ti, just a regular 4060. Okay, same amount of RAM. Okay, my fucking shit is just as loaded up as his. Like it's actually fucking even more so. In like, yeah, you could probably try to make an argument for the Intel chip, but the Intel chip isn't the generation that I have. It's like the generation after. I think it's the 14th gen is the one that has the performance issues.
do actually filter through to potential buyers, especially because PC is heavily concentrated in Steam and those user scores have been red for a long time.
Also, my other argument for the Intel hater people that are going to show up from that comment is that I run every other game ultra graphics smooth, no problem. Monster Hunter Wilds is the only game that I have trouble with.
But before we dive into why these numbers crashed, we need to talk about how the people Capcom chose to pursue did not save them in the end. Before this game launched, we flagged something absolutely crucial.
The market abandoned Capcom. Facts.
Capcom released Monster Hunter Wilds to plug an incredible gap in their balance sheet, and it's kind of amazing. What they basically did was a massive gamble that required humongous sales numbers, but not impossible sales numbers for a series as popular as Monster Hunter. It was a risky gamble, but it is one that initially paid off. And by paid off, I don't just
Right.
mean the sales. The reward after the financial year was literally the highest stock price that Capcom has ever had. Now, just so that you
Right.
understand this, they
And they had a massive influx of players. I mean, we saw earlier when I pulled up the Steam DB, like 1.3 million. That's insane. That's insane. But the problem is, none of them stuck around. None of them. And it's partially because there's nothing to fucking do. Even with the new collaboration shit, it's like very surface level, a couple of things, and then you hop off the game again. It's like, why would I even be invested? And I know they probably has a lot of stuff. They probably have a lot of stuff down the pipeline for this game as far as like getting it up to like a Monster Hunter World level. As far as like you have the base game, you have smaller DLC, and then you have the big one, which is the Iceborne, the continuation, right? Um but the problem is a lot of people aren't coming off the back of Rise. They're not coming off the back of Sunbreak. Um they're coming off the back of World because World is the closest game to Monster Hunter Wilds that they have. And it's also, by the way, the most popular game that they have right now aside from Wilds. So that's where like the fight really comes in. Is like, okay, how do you retain players that are coming off of old impressions, and how do you also make it inviting to new players to draw them in to make them those old players, right? Um, it's definitely a fine line, and I think they really just screwed the pooch. Like the Street Fighter collaboration, yeah, great guys. We fucking seen that before. Like who the fuck cares? Who cares? Final Fantasy had potential, could have been really good, but they chose the worst way to implement it, and it's just not good. And I'm sure there's probably a bunch of legal fucking mumbo jumbo fucking bullshit between Square Enix and Capcom and like how the collaboration is going to work and like what kind of characters we're going to release to you in order to promote your product, this and that and the other. But I feel like there could have been a lot more done for both of them, by the way, for both of them. At a base level, I still think Final Fantasy should have gotten more out of it the same way that I think Monster Hunter Wilds should have gotten more out of it. But for what they both did get, I would say Final Fantasy way far and above got more out of it than Monster Hunter Wilds did.
Basically had been posting like 10% growth a year, right? And they'd be doing this for a
Yep.
decade. And essentially, to not break the streak, they needed to make a shitload of money really quickly. And that is basically why Monster Hunter on PC was simultaneous shipped, obviously, to the great detriment of the game. So that was really good. Happy stock market. But of course, the consequence of this was really
And the funny thing is, everybody still would have forgiven them for this if they actually would have put in the effort to fix it before they started adding more content. But they didn't even bother to fix it. It's not even close to being fixed. They just didn't care. They just letting the problems continue to fester while adding more content and just hoping that the Band-Aid would stop the water from seeping through, you know? It's so stupid.
bad long tail sales. And after Capcom reported those sales, their stock fell nearly 10%. Now, it still is among their
Jesus.
highest figures ever, but it's a noticeable drop. Basically, the line did not go up. And what I like here is that a company has actually been appropriately punished. I mean, we can be very critical of the market and a lot of the short term.
Well, I also think they knew what they were doing, and I think they knew that this was a risk that they were going to end up having to deal with. So I do think that is why they shoved out so much extra content so fast when they very much easily could have taken the initial bump and let it level off a bit while making improvements to the game instead of force feeding like instantly gratifying people's purchase with a bunch of like 1 inch level fucking content.
Incentives. This is an example, though, where the short term thing they did has obviously been bad for shareholder value. Because you care about shareholder value, you probably want lots of copies of Monster Hunter to sell for a long time. But no, Capcom had to go and cock it all up. Now, they had spent the last 10 years playing it incredibly safe, posting consistent, constant growth. Stable development platforms, stable tech, lots of really good releases, and developers actually being able to deliver in franchises both big and small. And they were rewarded with incredible sales growth and a
And that's why it worked.
nice, solidly increasing stock price. And they absolutely did benefit from Monster Hunter Wild getting out the door with absolutely shit PC optimization, but it does seem that it was not in the long term benefit. So, let's get to the sales figures. Sales normally drop over launch, that's a guaranteed thing, but to drop
Right.
this much, this fast, especially for this franchise, it is worth interrogating. And I'll start with what's the most obvious answer. It's that maybe Wilds simply hit its total addressable audience at launch. It has a $70 base price, kinda steep, and it only went on sale once and only at 20% off. So that's a high bar for purchasers who are on the fence. So the total addressable audience at this current
In the publicity around this game is probably 50-50, right? Depending on the person, right? Because you have your big creators like your Asmongold's and stuff who will acknowledge the performance issues, but ultimately they portray a fun experience to where you would be more inclined to buy the game versus I'm trying to think of somebody off the top of my head. There's nobody I really watch in my circle um that has a truly negative appeal of Monster Hunter aside from my own personal experience. of like my brother and stuff like that. He pretty much he's done with the game. He dropped it like a month and a half, 2 months ago. Like he does not care anymore. And that sucks because that was the only person I played the game with. So now my hunting mate is gone. So I'm a solo dolo now. That's fucking sad. But yeah, it's a shame. It really is.
Current price maybe had been capped out. I mean, certainly it's a game you won't be taking a gamble on when better reviewed games exist. Rise and World are actually available on the very same platforms with far more content. So, with no new
Yep.
incentive at that price and no societal pressure from public enjoyment, nothing really moves the needle on Capcom's sales figures yet. Though, admittedly, Capcom will have Monster Hunter Stories 3 and Resident Evil Requiem coming. Now, those will pad out their balance sheet to be a little bit more healthy this year. With those new releases, they won't be in a position of like needing just for their catalog sales to prop the business up. But what is notable is that right after this call, Capcom released the $75 7-disc soundtrack as DLC in Steam. Maybe that
Jesus.
will raise some revenue. I kind of doubt it, but compared to the rest of the catalog, it is especially harsh. Devil May Cry 5 sold 1.78 million. Resi Village and 4 both outsold Wilds at 923,000 and 706,000 respectively, and even Street Fighter 6 sold 5.
I was gonna say that's crazy when the fighting game, which has become like such a niche community, um, because like fighters, they're just not that popular anymore, you know? Like, not compared to like back in the day. Like back in the day, everyone I know was playing Street Fighter, was playing Mortal Kombat, was playing any other sort of fucking brawly fucking game. Um, like even like Smash Brothers on the fucking Wii, it was like insanely popular, right? So like those games never like really went out of style, but like a lot of them did die off, and there's very few that consistently still sell very well.
138,000 units, the latter almost certainly being thanks to the Switch 2 launch. For the Resident Evil increase, we can maybe think that's Requiem's reveal getting people hyped again, but then there's Devil May Cry's outsized
Right.
impact, which is pretty much being put entirely on the new Netflix animated series being a hit and getting 5.3 million viewers.
I still have not seen that. I really need to see that.
Again, regardless of whether existing series fans enjoyed it, clearly a shitload of people saw Devil May Cry and ended up buying this game. And Monster Hunter already got its movie. The less we say.
Yeah. What is my opinion on this movie? You know it's bad when the actor is on the same is portrayed on the same level as the main thread of the movie. I'll just say that. I'll just leave it there. There's many movies like this that you can go and see that'll have similar ratings to this or even worse with this type of poster. It's just a fact.
About that, the better, I would say. Not least because the bigger story here is about library availability.
Although on that movie, I am a fucking kaiju groupie, so that movie was sick. Just to see even because like the 3D effects of the monsters was actually pretty good. I do enjoy that aspect of the movie, and that in Mila Djokovic, like I'm not dogging her specifically, um, because like I've enjoyed several pieces of media she's been in, and there were other notable actors as well in that, but just overall the movie was very like surface level, like not great, just not great. There's so much content to Monster Hunter that they really could have made a masterpiece of a movie that could have gone on like a Godzilla level of just hype and backing a Dune level of hype where everybody just already wants the next one, right? They could have easily done that, but it obviously fell way short.
And accompanying price drops during sales, because those things are key to drawing in new audiences. But you also get new audiences need positive sentiment towards your games. Because despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, people aren't that stupid. Based on Capcom reporting that over 50% of their American sales were on PC, well, we know how important PC is to Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds sales. So,
Yep.
what do you do then when your review score is threatening to drop below 50% lifetime and when your overwhelmingly negative reviews are sitting at a lovely 86% negative? Well, if you're Capcom looking at this, you're going to have to try some sort of unconventional plan, because technical fixes take time. And the good news is, we actually have got some confirmation of what those plans are. Game director Yuya Tokuda posted this message to players, and in it, he apologizes for the time that improvements are taking, but more importantly, he did confirm some major changes. So, they're moving features from late September to early August. They're hoping that will placate people. That means 9-star monsters for HR 100 plus players, it means new appraised talismans with random weapon skills, and it means balance changes being expanded from 5 weapons to 11 weapon types, and those are all upward adjustments. He also admitted something kind of critical. The Title Update 2's downward adjustments were way too far. Basically, they tried to balance the game better, but they just ended up making certain playstyles that people liked less viable. So now they're reversing course for a bunch of weapon types. But if you want a sign of just how hurriedly this planning is, well, the August 13th patch date kind of does confirm it. It's actually so early that Tokuda even apologized that Support Hunter adjustments wouldn't be ready in time. So they're clearly...
This is what I'm saying. They could have avoided all of this by simply taking the quarterly hit and just saying, you know what? I mean, well, not even that. Not even that. They could have done what they did, pushed the game out early, had a bunch of backlash for it, came out with a proper statement that said, "Listen, we know it's a mess. We simply just we had to get it out there. We are working on it and we are improving it." And then actually went and implemented improvements before doing all this other extra shit, and they they would probably still be in a pretty positive review score.
rushing content out to address player anger. I mean, why else do you pull features forward this much, even though doing so absolutely does risk the quality of your delivery? Now, as for PC optimization, he acknowledged the elephant in the room. So, they've reduced anti-cheat processing load by 90%, but real CPU load reduction won't actually come until the 4th title update this winter, which is months away. That's absolutely going to sting. And obviously, there's lots of risk here. If these systems that are pulled forward don't land with people or introduce bugs, then Capcom will have rushed content for no huge benefit. But at least we're seeing some open communication here, and it might be paying sort of dividends. I mean, whenever we started doing this video, it was 16% recent reviews. Now it's 23%, so yeah, you know, only up from here. But there's one thing.
It actually was. It actually was only up. It's at like, what was it? 43%? 46%. So it is going up. Um I do think it is still fairly salvageable. Um it's one of those situations where it's like better late than never, right? That's what I think. That's what I think the big kicker is better late than never. I mean, if they fix it now, great. They can have like a Cyberpunk 2077 fucking level of return, because oh my god, in May they lost a 500,000, damn near 500,000. That's insane. That's an insane loss of people. 800,000 right underneath it. That's crazy. And then you saw like here's all the veterans that stuck around, and then in July they were like, nah, fuck this. Oh my god, bro. And now they're finally getting some back. That's crazy.
One thing Capcom really does want to go up, maybe even more. That's revenue. Now, how are you going to get more revenue when this is really a game that people should not be buying for quite some time? The answer, my friends, is very simple. It's what every game does. Boobs. Okay, no. Abs,
True.
other bit, everything that people like.
I hate I should have recorded my reaction when I saw this shit on X. I saw the leak of this, not even the leak. I saw the reveal of this on X, and I immediately went to Steam, looked it up, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" If they wanted to put out sexual appeal, they could have done it a million better ways than this ugly ass fucking outfit. Like, she actually looks hideous.
Shown off by Digital Swimwear. Yeah, basically, they're pulling a Marvel Rivals. If you need your numbers to go up, then just sell people swimwear.
But the difference between the Rivals characters and Gemma was they fucked Gemma's look up by putting that bullshit on her. And all the Rivals characters got enhanced by the alternative clothes.
For their characters, because those always sell. Now,
I mean,
admittedly,
look at
this one
that.
is paired
That's
with 3 weeks
crazy.
of free in game activities and rewards, which is pretty good. It was probably also planned well before any chaos began, but it will likely sell well regardless. And I guess it makes one thing pretty damn clear: if you are an aspiring game developer, simply just make money by selling swimwear in your game. It works every time, apparently. With all
She didn't look terrible. She didn't look terrible. She didn't look great. She didn't look
this
terrible.
going on, people are kind of worried that they'll just like forget about the game and move on to the next thing because basically it's FUBAR, there's no point. Well, we actually know Capcom are not giving up in this game. They're being very specific and very open that they know PC players are not happy.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is they could have simply put their timelines back and avoided a lot of this and hard focus the performance issues, and people would have been totally understanding. I mean, maybe you could have given them like a couple of free skins or something, and any I mean that would have been more than enough, more than enough to keep players involved in the game, and they would still probably have like 300,000 fucking concurrent like continual players rather than the 15,000 that they're currently at.
But of course, knowing and then being able to do something about it, those are two different things. And while the development team is trying to get the game running acceptably in PC, they also need to address the gameplay complaints, which span every game version. And then, overarching all of that, there's Capcom's demands for the game to make as much money as it can as a product. But the real question is how
Right.
much work Capcom will need to do before then. How do they convince players that the expansion is coming for a base game that is changed, that is actually better? And in a world where a performance as bad as this one makes all of us look to the other skeletons in the closet, like some of the silly monetization they do, or as an example, Dragon's Dogma 2 being broken for way.
And the crazy part is like nobody ever has a problem with any of this until there's a big reason to make it a problem. The terrible the terrible performance of Monster Hunter Wilds has essentially given everybody a bunch of magnifying glass, and they are now looking for reasons to drag Capcom through the mud. And oh boy, are they finding them. That can be its own video.
Longer than it should have. Guess you do just wonder, is the camel's back broken? Is that why there are less sales? Well, in a good world, the camel's back maybe should be broken. There probably should be
Right.
real punishment over such a big letdown. But here's the thing: Call of Duty still sells. It sells massively. And I have a slight little suspicion that Andrew Wilson's Mad Lads will.
To be fair, Call of Duty's formula has been perfect. For every single person that hates the game, two people are hopping on the game. I'm just saying. And the best way, my best piece of evidence for this is Gamescom. Gamescom and the Call of Duty Black Ops 7, it's 7 or 6, um, full trailer release, full world review or reveal. Uh, it was insane. It was insane. That like there's no other word to put on it. It was insane. The story looks insane. The different games that are going to be also intertwined into the regular game are all like incredible. Like I'm s- I've been detached from Call of Duty since like Black Ops 2. I played a little bit of Black Ops 3 and I just kind of watched from the sidelines from there and I got into other games and different experiences. So I kind of fell off the Call of Duty hype train, but it's kind of nuts to me to watch the way that Call of Duty continues to really push the envelope. And I think that's why people come back, really, is they found the simple formula of do the same thing, but do it bigger than you did it last year. And now, even this year, they got some different features, some different game mechanics they're adding in. Like, they are truly just sticking to the formula, right? And then you have all these other games that are kind of reinventing the wheel. They're trying to find their own steps again. And then you have another franchise that my prediction is going to do the same thing, which is the game science people coming off the trailer of their what's the guy's name, Zong Hu or something like that. Um, latest Black Myth uh, reveal. This one, yeah, Zong Hu or Zong Kui, Zong Kui. It's probably Zong Kui. But yeah, Black Myth Zong Kui, which is probably going to be the same thing as Black Myth Wukong, but they're just going to make it better. They're maybe not even make it better. They're just gonna make it look almost the exact fucking same and deliver the exact fucking same experience because people loved it so much with Wukong. They're probably gonna love it the same amount with this one.
Probably not do a Wild Hearts 2 to try and take this series out because
True.
it's EA and I think they're basically terrified of everything by now.
No, this is a good video, man. Belilar News always coming out with these videos. 3 days ago. 3 days ago. Yep. So, point of the video. I'm right. You're wrong. Suck my dick. Catch you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, comment, go show Belilar News some love. Go give him a like, give him a follow, all that stuff. Give him a sub. Later.